Speaker, this country is not interested in numbers. If a minister announces GDP growth, talks about inflation, talks about exchange rates, and these have no real impact in the pocket of the ordinary Ghanaian, Mr. Speaker, that government cannot be celebrated. Mr. Speaker, one, electricity price tariffs have shot up through government deliberate increase to 28%. Water, 19%. Government so far has not been able to implement its own flagship program, One Job, Three Shifts. The women banking policy is still in the works. They've not been able to implement it. Government has refused to spend to invest in agriculture. Government is rather encouraging galamsey, and according to organized labor, since 2025, galamsey activities have increased. It is a matter of record, not me. Mr. Speaker, if in doing all of this, the same government turns around to tell us that inflation is low, macroeconomic data. What is macroeconomic data? What about it? If indeed these facts are real, we should see them reflecting in the pocket of the people. Mr. Speaker, the Agric Ministry and the Finance Ministry are at war. Mr. Speaker, whereas one ministry is saying funds have been released, the other ministry says that no. This government is focusing more on this gold for reserve policy by encouraging galamsey than to invest in agriculture. That is one failure. And Mr. Speaker, the same government told us that the presidential jets could not be used. Mr. President on his last trip flew Emirates to Dubai. From Dubai flew Emirates to the United Kingdom. Then returned from the UK to Dubai with a presidential jet that they say it cannot work. It cannot fly. Mr. Speaker, then from there to Belarus, then the same presidential jet from Belarus to Accra. Who are you deceiving? A government of inconsistency. A government without clear path to economic growth. Mr. Speaker, this government said that it was cancelling 1D, 1F. In its place, there is no policy alternative. What is the policy alternative to incentivize the private sector? This government is doing nothing to support economic growth through private sector participation. We want to challenge this government. If you claim that your economic policies are prudent and that there is economic growth, the question, how many businesses? How many businesses? How many factories? How many jobs have you created? Rather, your records have it that you have rather dismissed those who were in the employ of the state. Thousands of jobs have been lost since you took over. At the deputy majority leader's establishment, where he is the board chairman, almost 1,000 youths who were employed at GRA were fired. We are aware. Maritime Authority, Ghana Gas, Ghana Port Authority and Harbors, even teachers who have qualified and to be recruited, you can't recruit them. It is another fight between Finance Ministry and Education Ministry. You are fighting your government, Mr. Speaker. This government is not in control of its own departments and agencies. The president perhaps is in his lame duck months. Just 1.5 years, you've lost control of the ship. We hear some ministers taking awards. Some are alleging certain things we don't know. We don't know. We don't know what is happening. Mr. Speaker, this is a government that has lost control. It cannot even take care of its 189 in this chamber. Mr. Speaker, The NDC majority is a majority on paper. The MPs, the backbenchers of its side, Mr. Speaker, cannot even receive the necessary support for their constituents. They come here desperate, dejected, and depressed. Mr. Speaker, and now let's talk about the so-called gold for reserves. Mr. Speaker, they told us that there is an economic cost in implementation of economic policy. But how do you measure the cost? Gold board, Mr. Speaker, gold board. The level of mismanagement, the level of corruption at the gold board. Mr. Speaker, we know how come you buy gold at a discount and sell at a market price. When the minority sounded the alarm bell, they said that we were just doing politics. Now, when we raised it in December, they quickly organized an emergency joint board meeting between BOG and the gold board and reduced the fees from 15% to 9%. When the minority raised the motion on this House floor, with the majority using numbers to defeat it, they now again reduce it to 5%. Then now they say they want to cover it with a budget. Mr. Speaker, this government must account for all the losses. The IMF is estimating that we have almost about 9 billion in losses as a result of these gold board transactions with BOG. Mr. Speaker, so far, we know that this government has failed the people of Ghana. Just 1.5 years, you are thinking about succession plan. Mr. Speaker, one side of the government is talking as Yedun Katia, another side is talking about some people. The Greek minister wants to be a president. Some ministers want to be president. Meanwhile, the 4 years they gave you, you've not demonstrated your ability to govern and govern well. The people of Volta region, they are waiting for their share of development. The people of Central region, they are waiting for their share of development. Mr. Speaker, the MPs who are on the majority side, we are not talking about ourselves. We know when you share, you won't give us. But even your own side, you are hungry. Mr. Speaker, there is no development.